everyone, it's Justine and welcome to a quick card tutorial today. I really wanted to be playing around with some 3D embossing folders and I wanted to show you what they are and what they look like, so I thought I'd create a video about that. So I got this 3D embossing folder called Botanicals. It's made by Tim Holtz and I got it in a card kit from Simon Says Stamp. So I wanted to give it a try. So I'm going to be embossing some lovely lavender cardstock from Gina K Designs in 4 by 5¼ inch. So I have that tucked into my embossing folder and I'm going to be using my Gemini Junior today to cut it. And what I love is that the guide is so clear as to which plates that you need to use, and it even has a section on embossing with 3D folders. So you need to start off with your clear cutting plate, and then it goes on to the magnetic shim, the 3D embossing folder itself with your material inside, so I have the paper already there, and then another plastic shim on top. I'm sure if you have a different die cutting machine other than the Gemini or Gemini Junior, on the manufacturer's website you will find a way to emboss with 3D folders if it is possible. So I've now ran it through my machine and you'll see the results here. So the difference between a regular embossing folder and a 3D embossing folder is that with a regular embossing folder, when you're embossing, it all embosses the same depth into the paper, whereas a 3D embossing folder has various heights of the embossing or various depths in the debossing. So you can use either side, whichever way that you like. They make for a more realistic look and they're definitely a lot more detailed. So I'm going to attach my lovely lavender cardstock here onto a card base that measures 4¼ by 5½. For some reason I needed to trim the bottom there. And I just placed that with the debossed side on there. I'm going to create both, one with an embossed and one with a debossed look. And all you have to do to get that is to just turn your cardstock over. And you can see which ones that you like better and which ones that you prefer. So let me know in the comments which one you like better. So now it's time to get to decorating the rest of the card. I am going to be using the Create-A-Wreath die from Altenew, and it is a die that comes with both a circle and an oval set, and it comes with several different pieces so that you can create a wreath around it. So I'm going to use the oval today since I don't believe I've used it yet, and I'm going to use several of the pieces here, and I'm going to cut out all of my leaves in some vellum. I really wanted it to be a soft card, and since there's so much detail in the background, I don't particularly want to take away from that. So I wanted to keep everything nice and soft. I also went ahead and cut the oval in some white cardstock, and I'm going to use some 3D foam here to add a frame around the card. You could also make a shaker card out of this, of course, but I'm going to keep things relatively plain. So once I have that all set, I'm just going to take off the backing of the foam tape, and then I'm going to attach that to my card. The vellum itself, I have all of them cut out there. I have quite a few because I'm making 2 cards, and therefore I cut out, I believe, 3 sheets of the vellum probably in total, maybe 4. And I am going to now take a scrap sheet of paper and I'm going to start Copic coloring some of the vellum here. Now I'm going to be using various shades of purple here, and I'm going to keep things relatively light. I did go in with some dark ones, but I didn't like the way that it looked against the lovely lavender background, so keep things fairly light. And just remember that when you're coloring on vellum, it's going to dry no problem. It's not going to rub off on your hands. Just give it a second there to dry. But whenever you're coloring with a color, expect it to go quite a bit lighter than it actually is. So you'll see on the paper what the color is, and you'll see how very subtle the color really is. So I'm going to keep some plain clear, and I'm going to keep some in the darker, or in a light purple. Another thing I tried to do was I tried to make a wreath in the card, and I didn't think it looked nice with all the detail in the background. It was just too much. So you can see that one of my cards has the embossed look, and I also added 3D foam tape to the oval, and then on the debossed look, I just glued it straight on. And I'm just going to add various pieces of these wreaths here, facing up from the bottom of the frame, just coming up as if it were like a garden growing, and that's the way that I really liked it in the end. So I'm just rearranging them. Remember, some of them are clear, some of them are light purple, and it's just the way that you prefer to make your card. Okay, now that they're pretty much all finished, you can see that the dark there just didn't really work out too well, so I decided to leave that off to the side, and I'll use those for a different card later. I also went ahead now and die cut a couple of Celebrate sentiments. These are the Celebrate dies from My Favorite Things, and I really love the font on them. I cut them out in both white glitter cardstock and lovely lavender, the same color as the background, and I'm going to add some Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive onto the back, and I'm going to layer them one on top of the other and then use those as my main sentiment on my card. So the way I did that was I just slightly layered them off center so that you could still see the purple underneath the white glitter cardstock. That helped the white glitter cardstock not get lost on the background because there is quite a bit of detail in this card, although it is very subtle. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have you tried 3D embossing folders yet? How do you like them? Is it something you're interested in trying? Let me know in the comments below. I'd totally appreciate your opinion and to see what else you like about them and which ones are your favorite. All right, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in a few days for another video. If you're interested in continuing watching, I have some suggested videos here, and you can click on the subscribe now button to subscribe to my channel.